Hey, this is another episode of The Uterus Ninja, and I'm your girl, O'Connor. I know it has been a while since I've posted. The beginning of 2021 has been challenging, to say the least. I've had what I believe to be some challenges to do with my hormones, and so my menstrual flow has been very, very off. It's also been very painful. I have also had a lot of mood swings and some challenges managing my mental health, which is why, I'm finding it very, very hard to keep up with filming and then obviously editing, etc. as well. So I will say that, I will try and get back into a schedule, but please be patient with me, and I will put videos out as soon as I can. Anyway, I actually promised myself that I'm going to make this video short and snappy. Yet, over a minute has gone by, and I'm still chit-chatting. Anyway, so today's topic is going to be phytoestrogens. Now, I actually speak about phytoestrogens a lot on my social media and things, and I even have a product under my herbal teas and well-being brand. I actually have a product that includes, I have a couple of products actually now that include phytoestrogens, and I specifically formulated them to help people with uteri in the way that phytoestrogens are supposed to help. So what are phytoestrogens? So I'm going to assume that everybody that has a uterus knows what estrogen is. It is one of your reproductive hormones. If you have ovaries, you will have estrogen in your body. You will likely also have like progesterone and other sex hormones. But I won't go into too much detail about them now. If you guys want a more detailed video on the different hormones, leave a comment and I'll try and do that separately. But yeah, estrogen is one of those sex hormones and it is very active in your menstrual cycle, but it also across your life affects other areas of your body, such as bone development, etc. And which is why when women go through menopause or perimenopause a little bit too early, they have to be put on estrogen as hormone replacement treatment to avoid osteoporosis, which is where your bones get really, really weak and start breaking willy-nilly. We don't want that. So as you can see, estrogen is very, very important to our bodies besides just childbearing. However, estrogen can also, in people that have hormone imbalances, there can be too little estrogen, and that can lead to irregular periods, etc., etc. There are others who might have too much estrogen in their system, and things like fibroids actually feed off estrogen and they grow off estrogen. And so it's very important to find like a balance that your body likes. And so if you're low on estrogen, a suggested way to basically and to get natural hormone replacement therapy is to get your estrogen from plants, because estrogen from plants pretty much works about the same way as human estrogen works, and those estrogens from plants are called phytoestrogens. Phytoestrogens can be found in many, many foods. So even when we're not intentional about it, we probably still consume them anyway. One of the foods that have the highest amounts of phytoestrogens is soy products, so soy milk, tempeh, what is it called? Oh my god, how can I not forget what it's called? I eat it all the time. The little chunks made from soy. I cannot remember for the life of me. Guys, remind me in the comments. But yeah, Those are high in phytoestrogens. Herbs that are high in phytoestrogens are fenugreek. There's an African, I guess it would be a legume. I would probably class it as, called akpi seed, which is also very, very high in estrogen. I actually use the three herbs or botanicals that I just mentioned. I actually use those in my products because they're high in phytoestrogen. So if you incorporate these things into your diet, it will help you balance out your hormones if your estrogen levels are a little bit low. Now, for somebody who has an imbalance, and I believe that for me, my imbalance isn't constant, so there isn't necessarily one sex hormone that is always dominant, although generally speaking, I have a high level of testosterone, so there's that. But in terms of estrogen and progesterone, I have realized that over time, the one that is dominant has sometimes changed. And so sometimes I might have to supplement my diet with some extra estrogen, or feel like I have to do that. And sometimes I feel like I have to stay off the estrogen. And one of the times when I've stayed off estrogen is basically now, because I've had my period for about actually I've had it a year today. Yeah, it's been a year since I have had a constant period, with only about, I think the longest break that I've had in between is maybe about 5 days. So yeah, but I'll make a separate video on that, because that's just a long story. But yeah, so in times like these, I try to stay away from estrogen, just because heavy periods are a sign of fibroid growth. And even though my scans haven't shown any fibroids, they have shown that my uterine lining is growing exponentially, and it just doesn't stop growing. And again, that is a trait of, a tumor of some sort, which is what fibroids are. They are non-cancerous tumors. And so I'm staying away from estrogen, because I feel like if I consume too much, it might I notice that it makes my bleeding heavier, and two, I don't want to encourage the growth of new fibroids, since I already seem to have symptoms of fibroids anyways. However, on the contrary to my approach, where I'm trying to stay away from phyto or estrogen in general, I'm trying to consume it as little as possible. There is some science that suggests that phytoestrogens actually have less side effects than human or animal estrogen. So their theory is essentially that if we eat more phytoestrogens, the phytoestrogens are easier to essentially absorb. So the receptors for estrogen accept phytoestrogens more willingly than human estrogens, apparently. And so eating more phytoestrogens is supposed to displace our own estrogen. And the suggestion is that because phytoestrogens have less side effects, such as weight gain, cancer, causing fibroids, etc., 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 because high estrogen levels actually can also cause things like uterine cancer, etc. Not cause, but increase the likelihood, increase the probability. So the theory is that consuming phytoestrogens will displace our own natural estrogen, and the phytoestrogens are essentially less powerful. They still do the job, but they're less aggressive. Let's say it like that. I'm trying to explain it in layman terms as much as I possibly can, and how I've understood it. And unfortunately, just like a lot of other things to do with female reproductive health, there isn't that much research going into it. So we're still unclear, actually, as to exactly how phytoestrogens benefit us, or don't benefit us. As we stand right now, they don't hurt us in any way by in themselves. It's just that obviously, if you are predisposed, or if you already have high levels of estrogen, or you have a history of fibroids or of cancer, I would say maybe stay away from it a little bit. I will point out that I do drink soy milk. I drink pretty much all plant-based milks, but soy milk is the one that is most common and very often the cheapest. And so I do drink soy milk, just because I feel like dairy milk has a much bigger, or dairy in general has a much more harmful effect on my body. Again, I'll do a video on that separately. Dairy has a much more negative effect on my body that I feel like soy milk in particular doesn't have that effect on me. And soy milk, on just having soy milk by itself, doesn't seem to affect me negatively in any way whatsoever. So I feel like the amounts of phytoestrogens that come from just drinking soy milk isn't disrupting my body enough to make much of a difference. So I still do that. So I think it's a matter of really evaluating, like observing your body. And I know that not everybody can constantly go in for a check to have the hormone levels checked, but basically knowing your body and kind of tracking the foods that you're eating. If you want to go plant-based and you are planning on eating a lot of soy products, definitely observe what your cycle is like at the moment before you make the change, and then observe what it's like after. And if your periods are getting much heavier, you're getting a lot more cramping, you're getting acne, then maybe your estrogen levels are being increased too much, and it's causing an imbalance that is detrimental to you. So maybe then try and cut back a little bit. And another few foods that you should think about if you have a hormone imbalance, or suspect that you do, is coffee, tea, broccoli. A lot of legumes are high in phytoestrogens, so they're pretty much everywhere. So it really goes back to the age-old saying that everything in moderation. I would never suggest that you cut any type of food out of your diet completely. I know I've cut back severely on dairy, but I still eat it every now and again. Particularly cheese, because I'm not sure if anything in this world exists that is going to keep me away from cheese. But yeah, so that's that pretty much on phytoestrogens and how it affects your estrogen levels. Again, I did mention that I use phytoestrogens in some of my products, so I actually have a body butter that you can use on your booty and on your breasts to grow them, because estrogen is actually also responsible for, during puberty, estrogen is also responsible for kind of like giving you that feminine shape. So bigger breasts, and bigger wider hips, bigger booty, those type of things. And phytoestrogens used topically appears to be less intrusive on the body, but you can still benefit from the body adjustments that can bring you. And then I also have a estrogen boost tea, which I market for breastfeeding women, because it can actually help produce more breast milk for new mothers. So yeah, that's pretty much how I use phytoestrogens in my personal life, in my diet, and then also in the products that I make. I hope this video has helped you. I hope this video has been a good introduction to phytoestrogens. Again, there's so much more out there for you to discover on this topic. There haven't been many final conclusions on phytoestrogens in terms of what they are or how we should use them. And so it would be a good idea to, go off and do your own research and see if you can find anything interesting that maybe I haven't mentioned or I might not even know, and then put it down in the comment box. I would very much appreciate it. If you find any interesting articles, put it in there as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for supporting the Uterus Ninja. I really appreciate you, especially when I've been on like long ass breaks in between and you still keep coming back watching my videos. So yeah, guys, take care of yourself, stay safe, double mask if you can. If you can't, either way, try and stay home as much as you possibly can. Wash your hands. Stay safe, guys, because COVID is no joke, and I'm still pretty much dealing with the aftermath of that. So yeah, take care. Mwah.